What's going on, ladies and gents? Rocco Brown here from MyGamingJourney.com, and we are back with another 1v1 ranked game. Since the new update has occurred, right? Got a few games in, finished all my placement matches. Currently gold 2 rank currently, but at the time of this recording, I was gold 1. And this particular player that I'm facing off against was a platinum 1. So if you're new here, I primarily main House Lancaster. That's kind of my go-to civ at this point. I can play some English, I can play a little bit of Japanese and a little bit of Ottoman, but primarily I play a lot of House of Lancaster in both 1v1 and team games. So as I mentioned, I'm matching off against an English player here. This is a rather long game, so we're going to get into it and dissect it together. I do not remember the particulars about this game at all. I just know it was super long. With that being said, definitely appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. The purpose of these recordings is to basically help me improve, right? So ideally I like to dive into my pros, my cons, at least in my eyes, right? You're not going to get pro level knowledge here because I'm not a pro. I am a gold 3, low platinum 1. That's kind of where I hover in between, and as I mentioned at the time of this video and the time of this recording, I was a gold 1 versus a platinum 1. So let's dive into it. Let's see what happens, right? But I like to start off moving all of my workers onto sheep. I then rally the next 3 onto gold, and then I rally the remaining villagers on the food until I'm able to age up. So that's kind of how I like to pursue things and go from there. I'm not a huge fan of this freaking map. Canals is a map that I'm really considering vetoing, and I don't veto maps like that, right? Like, I try to stay away from water maps. Not really my cup of tea, and Canals isn't really a water map, but it adds the element of water, and from what I remember, there was some boat action between me and him that took place, as you will find out. But with that being said, yeah, that's kind of what we have going on. Nothing too crazy on my end. Got a decent chunk of sheep at this moment in time. Just trying to get over there and get eyes on my opponent and see what may or may not be happening. In addition to that, just a quick tidbit and side note, all of these games take place on stream. So you can catch streams over on MyGamingJourney.com. I stream directly on MyGamingJourney.com now that we're live over there. I also stream on Twitch and Kick as well. You can find me and you'll see all of the links and everything you can find right over on MyGamingJourney.com. Primarily, I am streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I try to have about 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the schedule for Mondays and Wednesdays. Fridays, about 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's kind of the current schedule. Some days a little bit later. Some days a little, or I should say some days stream may go a little bit longer. Some days stream may go a little bit shorter, just depending on how I'm feeling. But that's kind of what I'm trying to go with at this point in time, to say the least. So aging up with Lancaster Castle, I'm able to protect both my gold and my stone. Happy about that. Trying to get over here, get some scouting done just to get an idea of what's going on with my opponent. And I kid you not, during this game I'm sitting there going around and I'm like, where is he at? And I forgot that he was literally in this back corner. So I came over here, didn't see anything. I'm like, where's my opponent at? It's bothering me. And as my scout got over there, that's when I'm like, oh, he's over there. So, not a huge fan of this map at all. Neither here nor there, but that's what we have going on, right? So, headed back over there to scout, just to see what my opponent may or may not be doing, just to get an idea what he's opening up with, whether it's the Abbey of Kings, Council Hall, etc. And seeing what he may or may not want to do. Now, the one thing I will say about Canals is the rush distance is kind of far, so that's a plus. So I wasn't expecting any kind of like longbow rush, to say the least, or any kind of, I guess we could say, consistent longbow pressure, just because the actual travel distance was a bit long. So I saw he was still opening with Council Hall, but I was pretty confident just in the simple fact that my Lancaster Castle was able to cover both of my gold and stone, right? So I'm like, okay, can get a few manors up, see how greedy I can get and how many manors I can get up with the kind of distance I have and the pressure that he may or may not try to present, and we'll go from there. Here we are, 4 minutes in, nothing too crazy. Getting ready to actually drop down this first manor, rallying some workers over on the gold. Now my split, as you can see, is about 3 on food, 8 on wood, 1 on gold right now, and it's only because I have my 3 gold villagers actually building a manor at this point in time, just to prevent the supply cap at this point. And then, last but not least, 3 on stone. I'm going to actually start rallying some onto stone after I finish rallying over the gold. And go from there as well. Let me not say rally onto stone. I normally put 1 more on stone. So I'll normally have about 4 on stone, to say the least. And I think I'm actually going to do that. Yes, when I finish up with this gentleman who's building this manor, he'll go over to my stone. So, drop off some sheep, get back over to my opponent and see what he may or may not be doing is the plan of action. So 5 minutes in, nothing too crazy at this point in time, which is a plus. Let's take a quick little gander over at my opponent. He's about to finish up with his council hall, build some farms, cool. What else is taking place? Nothing too crazy at this point, at least from what I can see from him. So, get back over on my side of the house and let's see what we're working with. So 3 manors at this point in time is what I have down. And I was like, let me get 1 manor over by the TC, so that'll help in any flanking around to go over towards the actual wood line. 1 out in front of the gold, 1 by the stone, so I'm pretty much well covered. So in the event that there is any kind of flanking that comes around this side, I can just move villagers into the town center, and the town center will help along with the manor here. It's the thought process. So my thought process in addition to that was like, okay, this allows me to not really have to focus on too much production, because I am pretty well covered, to say the least. So I'm scouting back into my opponent's base just to see what may or may not be happening on his end. And I got a decent chunk of sheep. Manor upgrade is about to be done, so I can now produce another 3 manors, or build another 3 manors, I should say. Drop 1 here. Drop 1 there, just to reinforce stone line. Get a little bit more production on the wood line as well, and some production on the gold, because that one will the one up by the gold will double for the TC. This one right here is my thought process, right? So up to 5 manors at this point in time, getting ready to drop the 6th one, and now I'm rallying over onto food, I believe, yeah. Because my thought process is I have at least 6, let me get ready to start aging up now, hit castle age, and then go from there. Now we just rallying on to some food, yeah. I'm looking where I'm dropping that last manor. Dropped it here, okay. By the stone, so 3 by stone, 3 by gold. And 2 of those actually help with wood. And I say wood as far as wood defense, to say the least. So I drop a production building just because I saw the one longbowman. And I saw he's literally going up for his age up round over the castle. So I'm like, I gotta get up at this point in time, right? Got 600 on gold. I believe I start moving these workers from gold over to food. We'll see if that actually takes place or not. Yeah. And then I leave like 1 or 2 on gold at that point. So now 8 minutes in, I haven't even started clicking up to age 3 as of yet. Got some production going on in the mix. I'm kind of situated, right? I'm kind of covered just in regards to so Longbowman took that L, but I'm kind of covered just in regards to defense, right? The Manors, the Lancaster Castle, I'm pretty good there. Building, as I mentioned, a few production buildings on this side of the house, and what I should have did. Well, no, I won't say what I should have did, right? We'll just stick to what ended up taking place. So I'm about to go up to age 3 right now. 9 minutes and 16 seconds. Once I start actually building it. And that's where we're at this moment in time. So building, instead of building the King's College, right? Can I do it from there? Yeah, instead of building the King's College, I opted to go for the White Tower just to protect these resources here. Not even so much just to protect them, but just to be able to get early footing and actually start taking them. So that's what we ended up doing. White Tower, and this is where I see goofy boats. I think this is, if I remember correctly, boats start coming across. We will see though. That is what transpires or not. So, grabbing some economic upgrades, wheelbarrow, specialized pick, and then starting to knock out some production as well. Not only production buildings, but producing actual units. Okay. Grabbing double broadaxe as well. So just all my level 1 economic upgrades, just to start getting those out the way. Age up's almost done, which is nice. I was like, oh, he thinks he's slick. He's trying to start early. So, not mad at it. Smart on his end there. Try to start establishing some early pressure. And my thought process was he aged up, I'll say a whole 4 or 5 minutes before me. So I'm thinking to myself, he probably has the vast majority of the relics at this point, right? Still got enough to actually take this fight. These knuckleheads. Clean that up. Getting veterancy upgrades, level 1 horticulture. And then I also like to get the, what's it called as well, forestry. No, a lot of people don't opt to get it. It's just one of those things I like to grab by default. It's not super expensive, so I just like to get it, to say the least. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm age 3 now, right? Cool. We build a daggone monastery, but I'm not banking on there being any relics left. Just because in my mind, I'm like, he probably yanked all of the relics. 11 idle villagers. Don't be like me, y'all be better. Look at this. Idle villagers. Nothing. So, thinking to myself, like, okay, where can I go get some excess food at this point in time without having to start knocking out farms? Because that thought process was to start knocking out farms, but I got down a total of 1. Could have got food here. A lot of things that could have happened, right? So I went down here, just got the deer. But yeah. this point in time, I'm over on his side of the map. I'm like, well, let me start adding some pressure on my end. Let me start getting some upgrades. What should have been the focus should have been getting my additional 3 manors. Right? That should have been what was on my mind at that point in time. Didn't play out like that. Can't go that way. What can I do? What damage can I get done? I'm like, okay, he has a decent chunk of people. Decent chunk of things. Problems that I really don't want or need right now. Fight that I really don't need to take. So, knocking out the next set of manors. Upgrade the veterancy for my spearmen. And supply capped. Because why should I have supply pop? You know what I mean? Who does that? So here we are, 14 minutes in, no real pressure on my end. I think I did just get my hands on a relic. I did get my hands on one relic. And I decided to build some towers over here by the food just in case he streams across. I don't do very well with raids. Like, my reaction time can be terrible. So what I like to do is just start building towers around different sets of resources. It just helps me deal with things a little bit better in that regard. In regards to not losing many sets of units. You feel me? So I'm able to knock out 9 manors at this point in time. Upgrade is done. Doesn't look like I dropped them yet, but we're able to get them, to say the least. And my split's currently 18 food, 12 wood, 8 gold, 4 stone. Probably could put a few more on stone, just to say the least. Do I have any upgrades at this point? No. I'm literally just starting my armory upgrades. 15 minutes in, nothing crazy. So just trying to resecure, or not resecure, actually secure some more resources just throughout the map. Castle there, white tower here. Nothing over here as of yet, but kind of where we're at. So, see what we have going on this end. Manors are down. I think I'm finishing up all 9. Let's double check. Yeah, thought so. Finishing up all 9 there. So, let's get him up out of here. And neutralize that. Alright. So pretty quiet so far, y'all. Like, nothing too crazy. I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I can't get damage done on this side, right? When I was down here and didn't get much over there, I'm like, well, maybe I can get something done there. So we'll see. As of now, 1 relic, cool. Nothing too crazy, right? No more fights, no real pressure at this point. Getting some food. Bot side, I don't know if I implemented all of these different. I didn't get the farms really situated yet. And what's crazy is I still have food here. Still have 5 sheep. Whole other story though. We won't talk about it. Idle army. No idle villagers, so that's a plus, but idle army nonetheless. And I think at this point in time, this is when I'm trying to actually start grabbing sacreds, right? I think this is when I actually use my, what is it, the priests? The priest, the imam, I forget what they're all called. I know they all got different names, but you know. Because I'm like, there's no more relics for me to really take. So I'm like, let me start actually getting the sacred sites. Let's do that. Get the sacred sites, force him to come out and about, and see what engagements we can take and things we can get done from there. So, did I get more idle villagers? Unfortunately, I want to see if I get. Okay, I did get age 1 for that. So, no stone that I'm gathering at this point in time. I'm like, I need stone. Let's go get that. A lot of other places I could have took stone. Like, okay, here he comes. Let me back up a little bit. Got a worker kill. And I'm like, he has a lot. He has a whole lot. Like, let me back up. And let's rally everything over to this bad boy. So, go up to age 4, and I think I opt to age with a Berkshire, if I remember correctly. I don't think I went with Vanguard this game. Yeah, I went with a Berkshire. So literally I was just trying to do everything in my power to just secure resources around the map, right? He didn't chase too much, what was good. But my thought process is okay, if I can limit him to just certain areas, right? If I'm taking all of the important stuff, all of the good stuff, I can just limit him and starve him. You know what I mean? Now, granted, English does get gold in age 4 from their farms. We all know this, but if I can keep, just limit his presence from off the map, it's a win for me in my book, right? There are times when I struggle with being aggressive. There are times when I struggle with, knowing when to move out. Of course, idle villagers, as you see. So I got markets going up now. So my idea is, even though I'm securing all of the resources, on top of that, I can start, what's it called? So I see him, and I'm like, he's going to try to put a Berkshire outside my base. So I'm like, now I got to get over here and actually stop these knuckleheads. So, even though I'm securing the resources, I'm like, my thought process is I can start, what's it called? Let me move them back. I'm like, go put that daggone. I'm trying to just pick off these bad boys. Stop him from putting that Berkshire up. So, doing a little flank side on this end. And just trying to knock out some workers, y'all. And there I am, just missing everything. Don't be like me, y'all. Be better. Don't miss everything. So New Berkshire was not going to be in my best interest, right? At all. And I'm lacking food. So at this point in time, I should have just been buying things. And when I say buying things, I have a market. I have a ton of gold. Should have been buying food left and right. So, I'm not going to lie, at this moment in time, I'm not feeling good. I'm like, how did I let this Berkshire go up, y'all? I'm not thrilled, right? Knew it wasn't going to do the most damage, but knew it wasn't going to be the best case scenario for me either, right? Because it could have really panned out and got nasty. So I'm like, let me start building this here so I can at least start cutting off reinforcements. That was my thought process. This will help me actually secure this, but I'm like, I can start cutting off reinforcements as they're running across. He's not going to do tremendous amounts of damage with that there either. Right? It's just literally going to rain down and shoot a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Alright. So, that's what we got going on. Building some more production on this, and I'm thinking to myself, let's get ready to start sieging stuff down. Because that's what you do when you deal with headaches. Now, what do we have over here? I'm like, I don't think I got that up. Did I get it up? I don't think so. No. Unfortunately, I didn't get it up. So, headache, but no biggie in that regard. Like, alright, I'll just put one over there then. So, now let's start sieging down. I'm like, nah, we'll just focus on that. Put that down. And I'm like, okay, now that that's down, something to work with, right? Well, I'm hurting. I'm hurting. And I'm like, I really need some more stuff. Oh, here we are. And meanwhile, we have, let me slow this back down. Trying to just take gold and stuff, but I was like, oh no, I didn't even realize I lost the castle over there till it was too late. Now, what should have been done? The castle I should have put up probably should have been here. This one was a good thought process, but my micro is not super efficient, so my multitasking was terrible. I probably shouldn't have lost that as easy as I did, but the plan was just, as I mentioned, it's just starving for gold, right? Now, with that being said, castle over here just to stop his trade, because my trade was pretty much protected with the Berkshire here. You know what I mean? So any trade he would have got, being that I had such a decent presence on the map, probably would have been the best case scenario. But hindsight is 2020, right? So here we are. I'm doing pretty decently just in regards to trade. Village economy wise, villager wise, my villager count is terrible, as we can see. But we're still looking pretty good all in all. I'm like, let me start repairing some stuff. See what's going on. So one of the best things that I have going for me is that now that his Berkshire is there and the Berkshire is destroyed, Berkshire can't go up anywhere else, so his only option, you know, for the Berkshire is just trying to repair it. You know what I mean? So I'm super happy about that. Getting a few more upgrades, which is nice. Yeoman grabbing those bad boys, and I'm like, all right, let me see damage I could get done. Ooh, markers down there. Crazy, but it's a plus. We'll take it. So now I saw that knight venturing around, thinking he's doing a little flanky flank. Looks like who is trying to flank around me there? Please tell me, did I ever, just out of curiosity, y'all asking for a friend. Alright, I was like, did I ever repair that? Looks like I did. So I probably could have just pushed right in there at that point in time and just been situated. Now I'm trying to go around and grab trying to go around and grab sacreds, I believe, at this point. Been nice if I did that, wouldn't it? Between me and you. Would have been nice if we knocked that out, y'all. How do I just keep missing? Don't be like me, y'all. Be better. Missing everything. Trying to streamline units. Like, alright, let me back up. Because this is not working out the way it should be. Quick little side note. I need to see... Okay, I've put my knife manor back up. 4 archery ranges. 2 barracks. What did I have, y'all? Because I'm like... Production-wise, I have no... That's another thing I struggle with. Like... Making very limited production. I should have so much more production. I'm talking about production buildings, right? To pump out units. Where's my production? Can't tell you. Who knows? So, that's what we got going on. Good map presence. Didn't go and start taking more sacreds yet, unfortunately. Unfortunately, decent chunk of gold. 60 villagers, 55 military, and still no more production buildings, right? I don't even know how many traders I have at this point in time. I know I got a decent chunk of them.
Commanded me.
Doing pretty good there, at least if nothing else. And yet again, the idea was just to keep this covered, so he couldn't interfere and come around and do any goofiness. It's like, okay, he has that one. Cool. That's what we got going on thus far. Supply capped. 8 idle villagers. Don't even know where they're idle at. Unfortunately. Can I find out? Here. No food. So many other things that could be taking place right now, but here I am idling villagers. Like, at least I got brilliant enough to start adding more production, because that's kind of important. Did I actually? Okay, I actually connected that time. Nice. I'm like, I don't know if I'm winning this right now or not. Looks pretty good in theory. Guess if I would have had them in the mix from the very beginning, I would have been a lot more convincing, but not so much. So I'm like, I gotta pull off again. Back up. Let's try this once more. Maybe this time take the monks with me into the fight. And I know he's trying. The moment I saw him streamline, I'm like, I know he's trying to get back to that bad boy. And guess who still has 8 idle villagers? Still standing there. So, I was like, I see what the move is here. See what the plan is here. Let's... Hey, cool, cool, cool. So 21 on gold, 16 on wood, 10 on food, which is nothing special. Stone, I should have had individuals on stone. Fortunately, they are not there. He is again trying to get this nonsense up. Got my monks with me this time, so I'm happy about that. And I'm like, we'll take that. A little extra artillery support. That's going back down. I'm like, no, he's not slick. We're going to go get that neutralized. Monks are finally in the mix, so that's always nice. Like, alright, let me back up for a second. Let me just siege this stuff down and go from there. Oh. I'm like, nah, we're not doing none of that, buddy. So, right now we're looking pretty decently, y'all, in the grand scheme of things. Nothing too crazy. I'm like, let me chase down these. And I'm like, oh, this is what he has going on. So, ton of production. And I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, okay, I should be able to just push in here and get some stuff done. Alright, the vast majority of everything that he has is there. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe this is when to that. I'm like, alright, let me get that gold. And I'm like, this is when I start taking sacreds. I was like, let me get a lot more production. I saw he had production for days. I'm like, let me get production. This all cleaned up. Thinks he's slick. I was like, oh no. Lost my boys. Pop capped again, unfortunately. Looking good so far. I'm knocking out all this production. Here we are. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I was like, oh, he thinks he's slick. Like, we gotta stop this gold immediately. Fortunately, we lost that, but that's okay. We're gonna get that out the way. Stopping all gold. The person that's getting gold is me, no others. And then this is where I'm like, what's the only thing that could really hurt me right now? And I'm like, the most he could do would probably be a actual flank. So I'm thinking my trade is vulnerable. When you see me look at the stone, I'm like, I know I gotta get stone just so I could start literally walling off, just to stop any issues from my trade. So at this point, this is what we're looking at. Thinking to myself, I'm looking good on this end. Back up. Feeling pretty good at this point, y'all. Feeling pretty confident in the grand scheme of things. I got a little raid going on over here. Nothing too crazy. But it's something. Just a little multi-prong attack. Producing, just producing. Doing good. Alright, trade should be situated. They should be situated. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what he's doing there. Let me move these bad boys over here. That's where we at. Looking like we're pretty much finishing this off. No guarantees as of yet. So my brilliant idea with the horses, I was like, all right, let me just start targeting down these houses while I'm in there with them. Then everything else over here. Bad boys. A trade that he thought he was going to hope to have or continue with. Definitely will not continue on. Boom. then is he? Yeah, he's going back down there to get that. There we are. And I will have all of the sacreds once he finishes up with that. Bunch of idle workers. Don't be like me. Be better. And here we are, pretty much wrapping it up. This obviously was not the same game that I was thinking about. Played another game on here, canals, and then there were boats. Right? I thought this was the game where I had some boat action, and this is not the one. Like I mentioned, I just remember this being a long game. But that's kind of how it played out. So just before we wrap this up in the next 2 minutes, because it's looking like I'm about to finish things up here. Cons. Let's start with the cons. Actually, start with the pros. A lot less pros, a lot more cons, like usual. So let's start with the pros. I established and got my trade up, I won't say early, but in a decent amount of time for me, right? And I got a decent chunk of traders going, which is good. Sometimes, like, had I remembered to get trade up earlier, I could have sold a lot of things and got up to age 4 a lot quicker than I should have, right? So for me, that's kind of a very big issue that I run into, getting trade up, things like that, right? So getting trade up, I got that up in a decent chunk of time, better for me than usually do, to say the least. What's another pro? I got decent map presence, y'all. Like, I had castles in a lot of different places, even the ones that were destroyed. My idea was to be on the map, be out there, be ready, and let's do it. Couldn't pause really quickly. Be on the map, have castles up, and actually have presence, right? So I probably could have did that even without the White Tower and without the Berkshire. I could have went King's College and could have went what's the other one? King's College and the other landmark, and just dedicated a few more villagers to stone, got more stone up, and actually built castles like that. I didn't, right? But I'm still happy with how things went in that regard. You know what I mean? What else? Um, Pro wise, I was pretty good, and this is something that I consistently do relatively decently. My upgrades. I don't tend to fall behind with upgrades, right? So those are probably the three big pros. I established trade relatively in a decent amount of time, got up a decent chunk of traders, um, had decent map presence, and got upgrades. Those would be the pros. The cons, on the other hand, would be a lot. Idle villagers. So many idle villagers, y'all. It's something I struggle with, right? And it's just I'm trying to get better, but I struggle with it. Idle villagers, producing villagers would be another con. Another thing that I struggle with. I'll get up to like 50, maybe 60, and then I'll instinctively, won't say I stop, but I get so caught up on producing military from there that villagers, so now I'm constantly producing military, right? Constantly, we'll say producing traders, constantly producing upgrades, but then I'm slacking behind and not building villagers, right? So that's something I struggle with. So idle villagers, not producing villagers, not continually building production buildings. That's another thing, right? I'll look up, I may have 4 production buildings of each, and I'll have that for, 15 minutes. And it's like, yo, like, you need 14 production buildings of each, not 4, right? So I get caught up in that. Um, stone gathering. I'm not gathering as much stone as I need to, in my humble opinion, and not dedicating as many workers as I need to for stone, just so I could put stone walls, in different places, put keeps up, etc., etc. Um, Moving my priest or my monks with my army, right? That is a headache. It would be nice to have a key that I can bind the hotkey to, just to select all of my daggone monks. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but headaches nonetheless, right? It would be nice. What else? And then collecting and taking sacreds sooner, right? I may have monks out, not moving them with the army, not moving them to sacreds, so they're just idle, not doing anything. That's a headache, right? To say the least. So trying to be better with that as well. So those are the pros, those are the cons, some of the different things that come to mind, some of the things that I need to improve upon and work on. Um, Most importantly, I do appreciate y'all for hanging out and spending time with me all the way to the very end. If you enjoy, definitely like, follow, share, subscribe, get notified every time I definitely post a new video. And most importantly, check out mygamingjourney.com. If you look in the description tab below, you will see the link to the accompanying blog post. Click on the accompanying blog post. You'll see the accompanying screenshots, the accompanying information to go with the respective video. If you want to check me out on live, I go live roughly Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the schedule I try to adhere to. Fridays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some days a little bit longer, some days a little bit shorter, but I definitely do appreciate each and every one of you. In the comments section below, definitely leave your thoughts, questions, comments, and concerns. Just keep it respectful and stay on topic, right? Very, very important. With that being said, God willingly, we could do this again, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Everybody take care.